Okay, so the Canon 6D comes with a built-in Wi-Fi module, and I've been playing around with it and I am super impressed with it. This video will show you how to connect your Canon 6D with your wireless device. In this case, I'm using an iPhone. It would also work for an iPad or a compatible Android device. Wi-Fi enabling allows you to do remote tethering from your device. You can change your exposure settings, you can preview the shot, you can even review your images, send images to yourself. It's really cool. I think it's a game changer. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to download the app from either the Android or the iOS App Store and get it onto your device. The next thing that you're going to want to do is to come into Wi-Fi function. The camera is going to ask you to give it a nickname. You'll notice that we have this blue highlighted box, and this tells you where you are, and the Q button allows you to jump back and forth between the name itself and toggling the name in. And I'm using the directional pad right here. I'm going to type in Maven, so M, pressing set, A, and when you're all done, you're going to press the menu button. It's up here in the top left-hand corner, you can't see it. We're going to hit OK here. What that did is it essentially gives the Wi-Fi terminal of the camera a specific name. Now you're going to notice that you're going to have 6 different options in here. For example, transferring between cameras. If you have 2 Canon 6Ds, I guess you could do it. Or if you had another Wi-Fi compatible camera, you could transfer images between cameras. You can also connect to a smartphone, and this is what I'm going to cover on this video because I think it's very useful, especially if you are shooting in a studio or if you're shooting in the field. It's going to connect the same way, and it's really easy to set up. I had some problems initially, but I've kind of figured it out, and that's why I'm telling you guys now. You can also connect to your computer through Wi-Fi, but you need to have the EOS Utility app on your computer. It's going to be the same concept. You can print directly from your camera to a Wi-Fi compatible printer. You can upload your images from your camera to a compatible web service. I'm sure we're going to be seeing all different kinds of these coming up. And lastly, certain televisions that connect to a Wi-Fi terminal will also allow you to view images from the camera. So let's come back up here to the Connect to Smartphone. There are 2 options here. Camera access point mode. What this means is the camera is going to connect directly to your phone. Infrastructure mode means that the camera is going to connect to your local Wi-Fi signal, and then you would connect your device or your iPhone device to that Wi-Fi and then use it as an intermediary. This one is going to be easier. Hit OK. Again, go with the easy connection. I've had a lot of success with this. Hit OK. And you'll notice at this point that it gives us the nickname of our camera that we typed in, and it also gives us an encryption key that's unique every time you set this up. It's like a password for the Wi-Fi terminal of the camera. It's important for me to note that I'm using an iPhone 5 and I've already downloaded the EOS Remote App. We need to come into our Wi-Fi settings. We need to make sure that our Wi-Fi is on. Our iPhone is going to be looking for the Maven network. This is the Wi-Fi signal coming out of the camera. So I'm going to select it. And at this point, it's going to ask me for a password. Now, if you look back on the camera over here, let's see if we can focus, the encryption key is given. It's 55982919. And that is essentially the password. I'm going to enter that in right here. And then I'm going to hit join. And if you don't have any problems, it'll link up. So it says start the EOS app on the smartphone. Okay, so here is our EOS Remote App. Okay, there it is. It recognizes the Canon 6D. The nickname of the camera is Maven. It's pairing. You can select that. So when I look back on the camera over here, it says connect to this smartphone, Mike Schiffler's iPhone. That's the name of my phone. Hit OK. And then it can remember the set. The set number is the particular network with the particular settings, and it just kind of makes it easier to rehook up in the future. Let's start taking a look at some of the things we can do with the image viewing. So this is remote image viewing. We're now looking at the images of the camera on our iPhone or our iPad, and you can scroll through them like this, and we have different options where we can see the information settings. These are the shots I took last night. I'm really impressed with the high ISO noise levels. It's very, very clean, very good. So we have gallery view and gallery with information. We can select different dates, and I didn't set the date on the camera last night, so it doesn't know when I shot them. But I have other images from other cameras on that card, and we can select those dates and view them as well. We also have a different way to look. We can go by date, the folder, or the rating. We can give ratings to these, pretty cool. Something that you'll notice that's really cool is that when we select an image, for example, we have some of these options here on the bottom of the screen. We can delete images from our iPhone that would remove them from the camera. It's kind of nice. We can also give the images a star rating from 1 to 5. And close that. This is kind of cool, is that we can email the image to ourselves or to somebody else. You have to know that it's not the full-size image, about 2 megapixels. It takes a little bit of time for it to send depending on what network you're on. This last option here will allow us to connect the camera with the photo folders on our device, and this will allow us to import these 2 megapixel size images into our device. So very nice. I'm willing to bet money that we're going to see more features built into this, and the question you probably have is, what about videos? You can see the thumbnails for videos, but you can't necessarily play videos, and you can't record videos as of this recording, so maybe in the future. And now for my favorite part of this whole setup is the remote shooting using the app. This gives us some very cool options in terms of what used to be known as tethered shooting. It's where you would use your computer or an iPad or something else to see in real time through the viewfinder of the live view of what you're shooting. And we have some very cool controls in here. We can toggle different types of information. We can lock the orientation, so this will work in both portrait and landscape modes. Very nice. This will toggle live view on or off, so if you're not shooting and you want to save your batteries, you can turn it back on. This is where it starts getting cool. We have 2 buttons here. This bottom button is a focus button, so if you push and hold, we get a focus lock on Annie's face. Super nice. Love it. This will actually take the picture. Super cool. Man, that is so cool. And then this thing with the sliders right here, these are our exposure settings. So hopefully we can see this a little bit better. We have our aperture setting, our shutter setting, and our ISO setting. Come into our aperture. So this allows us to toggle our aperture setting and get a preview in real time. So let's go with a wide aperture, let's say. Obviously too bright, so let's use a faster shutter speed. Speed up the shutter. Annie's moving around a little bit. Just need to refocus. Very nice. Let's change our ISO. Maybe go down to 400. Okay, too dark. You want to brighten it up a little bit. So the EOS Remote App by Canon allows us to do some very cool things through Wi-Fi. We no longer need a physical cable to tether the camera to our computer. If you have an iPhone or an Android phone that's going to work with this app, you're going to be able to essentially do this anywhere. So if you're doing group pictures, if you're doing self-portraits, if you are a street photographer and you want to hang the camera around your neck and take pictures of people using your phone, they're not even going to know. And it's going to open up some very cool possibilities. Now at this point, I would say the app is very basic. It doesn't have any video shooting features. But to update an app as well as the firmware, it's really not that hard, and I do believe that at least we'll be able to trigger video recording in an update in the future. It shouldn't be too hard to do. My hat's off to Canon. I think they did a great job, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen next with the app. In any event, if you found this video helpful, you may be interested in my new DVD, Canon 6D Crash Course. It contains over 3.5 hours of awesome lessons, and I'll show you how to use your camera like a pro in no time. You can order it from the following link.